You are your longest commitment. Let that sink in for a second. Before anyone else entered your life, before love, before heartbreak, before success or failure, there was you, just you, and when it all fades away, there will still be you. The world around you can shift in a heartbeat. People you love may change, situations may crumble, dreams may evolve, but you remain. You are the one constant in your life. So tell me this, if you're going to be with someone every day of your life, shouldn't that relationship be the strongest, most loyal, most honest one you'll ever have? We're taught to value relationships with others, family, friends, partners, and yes, they're important. But the relationship you have with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship you'll ever experience. If you don't know how to love yourself, to show up for yourself, to respect and value who you are, you'll always be chasing that worth from other people. And that chase, it's exhausting. It never ends unless you choose to stop running and start looking inward. For years, I tried to be everything everyone expected of me. I molded myself to fit into boxes: the good daughter, the perfect beauty queen, the flawless actress. And while I may have looked confident from the outside, inside, I was still asking, am I enough? And then one day something shifted. I realized I had to be enough for me, not for anyone else. That moment changed my life. Loving yourself, truly loving yourself, is not about being arrogant or selfish. It's about recognizing your value even when the world doesn't. It's about having your own back when no one else does. It's standing in front of the mirror and saying, I'm not perfect, but I am powerful. I have flaws, but I also have fire. Think about how much effort we put into romantic relationships. We remember anniversaries. We write love notes, we say I love you, we forgive, we listen, we nurture, we put in the work. Why don't we do the same for ourselves? When was the last time you appreciated your own journey? When was the last time you forgave yourself for the mistakes you made or applauded yourself for how far you've come? When was the last time you took yourself out on a date just to say, hey, I like your company? We wait for someone else to love us the way we want to be loved, but what if we started doing that for ourselves? Here's a truth people don't talk about enough. No one else can complete you. They can compliment you, support you, uplift you, but they cannot fill your gaps. That's your job, your happiness, your peace, your sense of purpose. Those are your responsibilities. And when you take ownership of them, when you realize that you are enough just as you are, everything around you starts to shift. People treat you better, opportunities find you, you stop settling for less because you finally believe you deserve more. Let me tell you something I've learned the hard way. You can't build a home inside someone else. Because people are not permanent places, sometimes they walk away. Sometimes they're not capable of giving you what you need, and that's okay. But if you haven't built a strong foundation within yourself, you'll feel like you're collapsing every time someone leaves. But when you are anchored in your own self-worth, you don't break, you bend, you learn, you evolve. You are your longest commitment, and that means showing up for yourself on the good days and especially on the bad ones. It means speaking kindly to yourself when your inner critic is screaming. It means choosing rest when you're tired, not pushing through to please others. It means investing in your growth, your passions, your peace. It means becoming someone you're proud of, someone you'd fall in love with if you met them outside of yourself. This isn't always easy. In fact, some days it's the hardest thing in the world. Some days loving yourself feels like rebellion. But I promise you it's worth it. Because when you finally make peace with yourself, when you treat yourself with the same love, care, and respect you've given away so freely to others, your life starts to reflect that love back at you. I know this for sure. I am my longest relationship, and I've made a vow to love her, protect her, and believe in her, no matter what. That's not vanity, that's survival, that's strength, that's freedom. So make that commitment to yourself, not for a season, not until someone else shows up, not conditionally, but for life, because you, my friend, are worth showing up for, every single day, and when you finally believe that, the world will too. Stop waiting for validation. Let that be your mantra from this day forward. We live in a world obsessed with approval. From the moment we are born, we're taught to seek it from parents, teachers, friends, bosses, followers, strangers. We learn early that being liked, being accepted, being praised feels good. It feels safe, but slowly, almost silently, that need grows into something dangerous. It becomes dependence. It starts to define us. We begin to forget who we are when no one's watching, when no one's clapping, and that, right there, is the problem. When you build your worth on the applause of others, you'll spend your life performing. Every move you make becomes a calculated step to gain someone else's approval. You'll twist and turn and shrink yourself just to fit their expectations, their standards, their limited view of who you're supposed to be. But here's the truth: their opinion of you is not your reality. It never was. There was a time in my life, especially early in my career, when I would lie awake at night wondering what people thought of me. Did I look right? Was I doing enough? Was I saying the right things? Every compliment felt like fuel, and every criticism felt like fire. And I burned quietly, smiling, while the inside of me doubted every move. It took me years to realize that no matter how hard you try, you can't please everyone. There will always be someone who doesn't like your face, your choices, your voice, your truth. So why hand them the remote control to your self-worth? Waiting for validation puts your happiness in someone else's hands. It keeps you small. It makes you hesitant. It makes you question your instincts. It makes you rely on the approval of people who may not even know your heart, your story, your strength. But you do. You know the mountains you've climbed. You know the battles you've fought quietly behind closed doors. You know your scars. You know your magic. So why let anyone else be the judge of your worth? You are not a post to be liked. You are not a resume to be evaluated. You are a human being evolving, expanding, learning, and unlearning. Your validation must come from within. It has to, because when it does, you move through life differently. You walk into rooms without shrinking. You speak without second guessing. You create without apologizing. You make decisions that reflect your truth, not someone else's version of what's acceptable. This doesn't mean you stop listening to feedback or stop growing. Growth is essential, but growth and validation are not the same. Growth is about evolving for yourself, not to earn someone else's stamp of approval. When your motivation comes from self, love instead of fear of rejection, everything changes. You don't fear being misunderstood. You don't fear standing out. You don't fear walking alone for a while if it means staying true to yourself. I've seen people, incredible, talented, radiant people, dim their light just to be more palatable. I've done it myself. I've tried to be less bold, less opinionated, more agreeable, and each time I did, I lost a piece of myself. That's the cost of chasing validation. You end up abandoning yourself, but no amount of approval is worth that, none. The freedom comes when you stop waiting. When you wake up one day and say, I like who I am, I love who I'm becoming, and I don't need anyone else to clap for me because I'm clapping for myself, that's when you become unstoppable. That's when you stop settling for mediocre love, for empty friendships, for jobs that drain your soul, for rooms where your presence is questioned. You become the standard, you become the voice, you become the home you've been searching for in others. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. It's not pride, it's power. When you no longer need permission to shine, you become a light for others to do the same. You inspire, you lead, not by fitting in, but by standing tall in your truth. So let this be the day you stop waiting for the text, for the compliment, for the promotion, for the invite, for the permission, for someone to say you're good enough. Because you already are. You are not here to be chosen. You are here to choose yourself. You are not here to fit into a mold. You are here to break it. You are not here to earn love. You are here to be love and to give it freely, starting with yourself. So the next time you catch yourself hesitating, doubting, shrinking, pause, breathe, remember who you are. Remind yourself that validation is not a currency you need to collect. Your worth isn't up for debate. Your brilliance isn't up for votes. Own it. You have nothing to prove to anyone but everything to offer when you're true to yourself. And that, right there, is the kind of validation that lasts forever. Say no without guilt. 3 words that sound so simple, yet for so many of us they feel heavy, almost rebellious, like we're breaking some unspoken rule of politeness, of being agreeable, of being nice. We're raised to please, to keep the peace, to say yes even when our body screams no. We're taught that saying no means we're selfish, difficult, cold, or ungrateful. And so we keep saying yes to invitations we don't want, to responsibilities we can't handle, to people who take more than they give. But here's the truth: every time you say yes to something that doesn't serve you, you are saying no to yourself. You are placing someone else's comfort above your own peace. You are giving away pieces of your energy, your time, your boundaries, just to avoid the discomfort of a two-letter word. That's not kindness, that's self-abandonment. Saying no is not about being rude. It's not about shutting people out or closing doors. It's about honoring your limits. It's about choosing what's aligned with your values, your energy, your mental and emotional well-being. When you say no with clarity, with confidence, and without guilt, what you're really saying is, I matter too. And that's not selfish, that's necessary. I know this isn't always easy, especially if you've been conditioned to be the yes person, the reliable one. The peacemaker, the one who doesn't rock the boat. Maybe you've spent your whole life being the person everyone could count on, and maybe part of you fears that if you stop saying yes, you'll stop being loved. But love that demands your constant self-sacrifice is not love, it's dependence, it's expectation, and it's unsustainable. Let me tell you from personal experience, when you start saying no, not everyone will like it. Some people will be surprised, some will be disappointed, some will even be angry, because people get used to the version of you that's always available, always agreeable, always bending. And when you stop bending, when you stand straight in your boundaries, you will shake the ground beneath them. But you are not responsible for other people's reactions to your boundaries. You are only responsible for respecting your own. The right people, the ones who truly care about you, who want to see you happy and whole, they won't guilt you for taking care of yourself. They won't punish you for having limits. They'll honor them, and if they don't, that's a red flag, not a reflection of your worth. There is power in a clear, unapologetic no. Not no, I'm so sorry. Not no, but maybe later. Not no, unless you really need me. Just no. Full stop. You don't owe anyone a justification for protecting your time, your energy, your peace. No is a complete sentence, and it can be delivered with love, with grace, with kindness, but it doesn't have to come with guilt. Think of all the times you've said yes when you meant no, the resentment that brewed quietly inside you, the exhaustion that followed, the mental load you carried because you didn't want to upset someone else. Now imagine what it would feel like to say no and let it be enough. Imagine the freedom, the clarity, the sense of ownership over your own life. You cannot live fully if you are constantly pleasing others at the cost of yourself. You cannot pursue your dreams, your rest, your joy, if you are weighed down by everyone else's expectations. And you cannot build a life you love if you are constantly living someone else's version of who you should be. So let's normalize this saying no to things that drain you, saying no to people who don't respect your boundaries, saying no to invitations that feel like obligations, saying no to guilt, to over-explaining, to performing for approval. Say no when your intuition tells you it's not right. Say no when your body feels tired. Say no when your heart needs space. And here's something important. When you say no, you make space for better yesies, for opportunities that truly light you up, for relationships that are mutual, for rest that is restorative, for boundaries that create balance. Every no you say to something misaligned is a yes to something greater, to self-respect, to self-care, to self-love. This isn't just about saying no to others. It's also about saying no to your inner critic, the one who tells you that you're letting people down, the one who whispers that you're not doing enough. Say no to that voice too. Because it's lying. You are allowed to have needs. You are allowed to put yourself first. You are allowed to choose peace over pleasing. Start small if you need to. Say no to that text you don't have the energy to respond to right now. Say no to the meeting that could have been an email. Say no to the friend who only calls when they need something, and then say yes to rest, to stillness, to joy, to the things that fill your cup instead of emptying it. There is no prize for burning yourself out to be everything to everyone, but there is power in choosing to be everything to yourself first. So say no, say it with love, say it with strength, say it without guilt. Because you deserve a life that honors your boundaries, not just your sacrifices. Celebrate your flaws, they make you fierce. It sounds like a line pulled from an Instagram quote card, doesn't it? But it's more than just a feel good mantra. It's a truth that took me and so many others years to understand and even longer to embrace. We live in a world obsessed with perfection. Everywhere we turn, we're bombarded with filtered faces, curated lifestyles, and impossible standards. We're taught subtly and sometimes brutally that we must constantly fix ourselves, be thinner, be quieter, be more agreeable, be less asterisk you asterisk. And when you grow up constantly measuring yourself against an ideal, it's easy to start believing that your so-called flaws are things to be hidden, apologized for, or corrected. But here's what no one tells you when you're younger: the things you've been taught to hate about yourself, your scars, your quirks, your differences, those are your power. They're not weaknesses, they are part of your story. They are what make you unforgettable. And when you start owning them instead of hiding them, you become something rare, real. I'll be honest. There was a time when I was deeply insecure about my skin color. In an industry that often favors a certain shade, I felt like I had to work twice as hard to be seen, to be celebrated, and then there was the accent. I was told to change it, neutralize it, as if authenticity had to be edited to be accepted. It hurt, it confused me, it made me question if who I was would ever be enough. But the truth is, every time I bent to fit into someone else's version of perfection, I lost a little bit of myself. And the more I embraced the things that made me different, my color, my voice, my boldness, my roots, the more I realized that's where my strength lies, not in fitting in, not in smoothing out my rough edges. But in owning them we've been conditioned to call certain things flaws: a gap in your teeth, a body that doesn't conform to size charts, a loud laugh, a scar from surgery, anxiety, stretch marks, social awkwardness, sensitivity. But why do we see these things as problems? Who decided that beauty must be flawless, that strength must be silent, that success must look polished and poised? I say no. I say break those rules, because flaws are not flaws. They are features. They are proof that you've lived, that you've felt, that you've survived. That scar on your body, that's strength, that awkwardness. That's honesty, that fear, that's vulnerability, and it takes courage to show it. Every crack, every curve, every imperfection is a piece of the mosaic that makes you asterisk you asterisk. Why would you want to erase that? Here's the thing: when you stop trying to be perfect, you give yourself permission to be asterisk human asterisk. And in that humanity lies something more magnetic than any curated version of yourself could ever offer asterisk connection asterisk. People don't fall in love with perfect. They fall in love with real, with raw, with flaws that make you relatable, beautiful, and fierce. Fierce doesn't mean flawless. Fierce means fearless, not the absence of fear, but the willingness to show up anyway. To take the stage with trembling hands, to speak your truth even when your voice shakes, to walk into a room knowing you don't look like everyone else and still holding your head high. There's power in saying, yes, I have flaws and I'm still worthy. In fact, asterisk because asterisk of those flaws, you're worthy. Because you've seen dark days and kept going. Because you've doubted yourself and still dared to dream. Because you've been told you're too much or not enough and still showed up. Flaws teach you resilience, they teach you empathy, they humble you, they sharpen you, they connect you to others in ways perfection never could. And when you stop seeing them as roadblocks and start seeing them as chapters in your story, you start walking through life differently with a boldness that says, I don't need to be perfect to take up space. This is not a call to stop growing. Growth is beautiful, evolving is necessary, but it should come from love, not shame. Improve because you love who you are, not because you hate who you've been. Healing doesn't mean erasing your past, it means honoring it. Transformation isn't about turning into someone new, it's about becoming more asterisk you asterisk. You don't have to wait until you've fixed yourself to feel worthy of love, of joy, of peace, of success. You're worthy now exactly as you are. With the messy emotions, the contradictions, the flaws and all, so celebrate them, speak about them, laugh at them, own them, because every time you do, you give someone else the courage to do the same. You remind people that perfection isn't the goal, presence is. Authenticity is, wholeness is. Your flaws don't make you broken, they make you brave, they make you complex, they make you fierce, and the day you stop hiding them is the day you start fully living. Dream so big it scares people. Let that sentence sink in because it holds a kind of truth that can shift your entire existence. We're told to dream, yes, but usually in careful, manageable sizes. Dream but stay realistic. Dream but not too loud. Dream but don't make others uncomfortable. And so many of us shrink our visions to fit into boxes built by other people's fears. We water down our ambition. We tone it down so we can blend in. Because God forbid we're called too much, too bold, too confident, or too different. But the people who change the world, who shift narratives, who rewrite rules, they are never the ones who played it safe. They are the ones who dared to believe in something no one else could see. They are the ones who dreamed beyond logic, beyond statistics, beyond limitations. And yes, their dreams scared people, because small minds will always tremble in the presence of a limitless soul. When you dream big, you challenge the status quo, you create waves, you force people to look at their own limitations, and not everyone is ready for that. So yes, your dream might make some people uncomfortable. Let it. Your dream might be misunderstood, doubted, even mocked. Let it, because if your dream doesn't shake the room a little, maybe it's not big enough. Big dreams are not just about success, they're about vision. Purpose, disruption, they're about imagining a future that looks nothing like your present and deciding to make it real anyway. That's courage, that's power, and it's terrifying not just for others, but for you too. Because dreaming big requires you to believe in something that hasn't happened yet. It asks you to trust your voice when no one else echoes it, to show up even when the path isn't clear. I remember the first time I told someone one of my wildest dreams. They laughed not cruelly, but in that polite, "Oh, that's cute" kind of way, and for a moment I shrunk. I questioned myself. Was I being ridiculous? Was I reaching too far? But then something inside me whispered, no. Keep going. Because their laughter was a reflection of their limits, not mine, and every time someone doubted me, it added fuel to my fire. You see, big dreams attract doubt the way light attracts moths. It's part of the journey, but what matters isn't what they think, it's what you believe. Can you see it? Can you taste it? Can you feel it in your bones, even when nothing around you confirms it? If the answer is yes, then that dream belongs to you. And no one can take it away. Don't apologize for dreaming big. Don't shrink to fit in rooms too small for your vision. Don't seek approval from people who have never dared to dream for themselves. Because the ones who truly get it, the ones who have dared to leap, to build, to rise, they'll see you. They'll recognize the fire in your eyes and they'll root for you. Dreaming big means failing big too. It means risking rejection. It means falling flat on your face sometimes. But I'll tell you something, there's nothing more soul-crushing than playing it safe your whole life and wondering what if. Regret doesn't come from failing. It comes from never trying, from never letting yourself fully go after what your heart whispers to you when no one's watching. Let your dreams scare you. Let them stretch you. Let them shake up everything you thought was possible. Because on the other side of that fear is growth. On the other side of that discomfort is expansion. And on the other side of your wildest, most intimidating dream is you. The fullest, fiercest version of you, and don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for the money, the title, the permission. Start now, messy, unsure, but moving. Big dreams are built step by step, one choice at a time, one brave decision followed by another. You won't have it all figured out, you're not supposed to, but clarity comes in motion. Momentum comes when you trust the vision enough to act on it. People might roll their eyes, let them. They're not your audience. You're not here to convince anyone. You're here to live a life that feels like yours. So speak your dreams out loud. Write them in bold ink. Say them in rooms that aren't ready. Dream out loud until the echo becomes your anthem. because the world needs more people who refuse to settle, who dare to see what could be instead of what is. You were not born to fit in. You were born to expand, to lead, to light up paths others are too afraid to walk. So go ahead, dream so big it scares people. And while you're at it, let it scare you a little too, because that's how you know it's worth it. Be your own hero. It sounds poetic, even empowering, but it's also a bold challenge, because it means stepping out of the waiting room of your own life, refusing to be rescued, and deciding that the person you've been waiting for is already within you. We grow up with stories, fairy tales, movies, myths that tell us the hero is always someone else. The one who swoops in, solves the problem, saves the day, and whether that hero looks like a prince, a mentor, a parent, or a lucky break, we subconsciously absorb the idea that someone else will come along to fix what's broken, to heal what hurts, to validate our worth. But what if the rescue mission isn't coming? What if the story changes when you realize you are not the damsel, not the sidekick, not the victim, but the hero? Being your own hero doesn't mean you never need help. It doesn't mean you carry the weight of the world alone or deny your pain. It means you recognize your power. It means you stop looking outward for permission to rise, to speak, to lead, to heal. It's about reclaiming your narrative, even the messy parts, and choosing to own your story, flaws and all. There are moments in life that test you: heartbreak, betrayal, failure, loss. And in those moments, it's natural to hope someone will appear and make it all okay. But the most powerful realization you can ever have is that you are capable of standing back up, of putting your pieces together, of becoming stronger not in spite of your wounds, but because of them. Heroes aren't fearless. They're just willing to face their fears. They don't always have capes or perfect plans, but they have courage, the kind that shows up when no one's clapping, the kind that shows up at 3 a.m. when the anxiety won't stop, the kind that pushes you to go to therapy, to leave a toxic relationship, to apply for the job you think you're underqualified for, to say, "I deserve better." To be your own hero means becoming the person you needed when you were younger. It means choosing growth even when it's uncomfortable. It means setting boundaries that protect your peace, even when they disappoint others. It means rewriting the script that tells you you're not good enough, and instead saying, "I am already enough, right now, as I am." No one is coming to hand you your dream life. No one is going to force you to believe in yourself. That's your job. That's your responsibility. And yes, that can feel intimidating, but it's also the most liberating thing in the world. Because once you realize you hold the pen, you stop waiting for someone else to write your story. Think about the people you admire, the ones who overcame, who built something from nothing, who turned their pain into power. They didn't do it because they were lucky or chosen. They did it because they decided to fight for themselves. They decided to believe even when it would have been easier to give up. You can do that too. Start by showing up for yourself in small ways. Keep the promises you make to yourself. Speak kindly to the mirror. Don't abandon your dreams just because they take time. Don't ignore your needs just to keep the peace. Don't apologize for your strength, your ambition, your sensitivity, your truth. You are the one who knows your heart best. You are the one who wakes up every day in your skin, with your thoughts, your struggles, your fire. So who better to be your champion? Who better to protect your joy, your voice, your purpose? Yes, lean on others. Ask for support. Build a tribe that lifts you, but don't make them your lifeline. You are not a half waiting for a whole. You are not incomplete until someone else arrives. You are whole, even in your brokenness. You are enough, even in your healing. Being your own hero is a daily choice. Some days you'll feel strong and steady. Other days you'll feel lost and tired. That's okay. Heroism isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. It's about showing up for yourself even when you don't feel like it. It's about knowing that you are worth the effort. There is nothing more powerful than a person who refuses to give up on themselves, not because life is easy, but because they know they're worth fighting for. You don't have to save the world. Just save asterisk yourself asterisk. Save the parts of you that were told to stay quiet. Save the parts that got lost trying to please others. Save the dream you buried because someone told you it was too big. You are your own hero when you rise after falling. When you speak after being silenced, when you love yourself in a world that profits from your self-doubt, you are your own hero every time you choose to grow instead of shrink, so wear your scars like armor. Walk with your head high, not because life hasn't touched you, but because you faced it and kept going. Be fierce in your healing, be brave in your becoming. You don't need saving, you just need to remember who you are.